Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Dave Mercer.
See a very different championship Sunday right here in New York. I love coming to New York for Bassmaster Elite Series events. New York, no one obviously for giant fish. They're going to be with us, but also known for giant crowds. And unfortunately, due to the crowd restrictions, we will not have crowds here today. But I know we got you guys watching on Bassmaster Live, Bassmaster.com all day long and all week long. We've been on ESPN2. It's been absolutely incredible to watch go down. And wow, what a exciting conclusion we had going on out there today. Championship Sunday. You knew you weren't going to come here 4 days in a row and not be tested. This truly a test of the best. And as you can see from the leaves of our trees, it is very windy. Reported 8-foot waves out of the mouth Cape Vincent there. So our anglers be back here in just a few minutes. I can see some of them making their way across here. We've 10 anglers left in the field and going to decide who our champion is here. We've already made history this week. Unbelievable. Day number 1, 7 pounds, 13 ounces. The biggest smallmouth bass ever weighed in Bassmaster history. And of course, weighed in by Paul Mueller, a former Bass Nation national champion, a guy who's already got the record for the 5 biggest fish ever weighed in Bassmaster Classic history. He's already won an Elite Series event this year, kicked it off early, the first event of the season, which seems like about 17 years ago, back on the St. Johns River, but also took a win last year in Lake Lanier. If he pulls it off here today, it'll be his 3rd Elite Series win. But the guy behind him, I mean, Chris Johnston is already the first Canadian to ever win an FLW Tour event and would love to become the first Canadian to win an Elite Series event. He was a bridesmaid finish here last year, also had a bridesmaid finish on the St. Johns River last year. So he's been close before. But it's going to be a historic day trip, and I'm just happy that we're back doing things and watching our anglers make history, because for a while there I thought we might be history.
Well, I'll be happy when I know all 10 boats are in, because it is really rough out there. But we're on the Great Lakes, Dave, and you know, the forecast has held true all week. We knew today was going to get rough. I think for the first half of the day, it was, by Ontario standards, it was not really too awful bad, but from 11 o'clock on, it's really kicked up. But you know, it's to me, it's a miracle to get 3 straight days. I've been here many times. 91 was my first trip here, and to get 3 straight days of benign conditions where the guys can run out on the lake and do what they want to do has been fantastic. So many people to thank. I see Mayor Norma Zimmer, Scott Graves, everybody here in Clayton and Jefferson County, Governor Cuomo's office designating the Bassmaster Elite Series a professional sporting event, just like the New York Yankees and other major sports teams. You know, unfortunately, under that designation, under the COVID restrictions, we're not allowed to have spectators inside our bubble. But I was talking to Ben Ashby backstage. I said, I guarantee you go to Wrigley Field, and out in left field where those apartments are, you're going to see fans. And New York fans love their bass fishing. So you look outside the perimeter of our bubble, and we have some great fans here. So we appreciate everybody. It's great to be in New York. We head to Plattsburgh next week, Lake Champlain. But a lot to talk about, what all went into just getting this event here, starting with Eric Lopez, and 2 weekends ago he was on the phone virtually all day, all evening, working with the Antique Boat Museum Board, Mayor Zimmer, Scott, health officials here, everything we had to do to make sure, first of all, everybody's safe and healthy. And we had COVID testing. You know, the anglers have done a great job. The staff has done a great job. We're preaching CDC guidelines of covered face, you know, within 6 foot distance. Plenty of hand sanitizer, compliments of Mammoth Gel hand sanitizer, our sponsor. And so all of that. On top of that, we have a new thing we've talked about, crew minders. You can go to crewminders.com. That is an application. If you have a big project like a construction project or something where you need to screen your people, your group of people, that's what we're doing through Crew Minders. Every angler gets a text every day, every staff member, every camera guy, everybody associated, roughly 140 people with our group. We get a text every day that goes through the COVID screening. and anglers simply can't go out until they've completed that. And I think we've had to chase down like 2 anglers prior to takeoff. So appreciate the anglers' cooperation of that. We appreciate crew minders because that app has really been good. I mean, you know, in this world we're in now, we need to take care of each other and do your face coverings, folks. I'm going to protect myself. I'm going to ask you to protect yourself, and we'll protect each other.
And crew miners are a great thing for, you know, somebody of the Bassmaster family watching here. I mean, so many business owners and people that are dealing with exactly what you talked about over the last few weeks, just trying to get back to our world and normalcy. And obviously there's things like that help. So crew miners, something available for every business.
Right. And, you know, let's talk about tournament waters. You know, we had hoped to go to Canadian waters, but they extended the no crossing the border until August 21st. We go to Plattsburgh next week, and then we're in Detroit on Lake St. Clair in August. Hopefully that will get lifted. Let's get this curve down and you know, get our anglers where they can fish Canadian waters, because that opens up a lot of St. Clair. Would have opened up a lot of water here, but still, this is one of the greatest fisheries in the world. If you read Bassmaster magazine, this fishery is right at the top of the charts every year.
It truly is, and if you watch today, I mean, and all week long, it proved that this fishery is not only one of the best in the world, but it just keeps getting better and better.
It does, and people love Clayton, New York. I was talking to a couple of buddies today, you know, after takeoff, and how they just come up here and spend time. And if you hear yourself and Mark Zona and Davey Height, you know, when they have time to come to New York and come up, they come to the St. Lawrence River. And it's just a great place to be, great people. The scenery is absolutely phenomenal, and hey, it's like 110 heat index at my house in Alabama. I love this.
Oh, it's comfortable, and I'll tell you, one of the cool things about here, if you've never been here, you know, when this is, and any angler, doesn't matter where you're from, you understand this. You know those parts of the world where you back your boat in, and as that boat floats off the trailer, you look off the side of your boat, and you just know you're going to catch them. That's the kind of water you fish. I mean, crystal clear. You can fish beside a castle, literally multiple castles, and some houses that are bigger than castles here on this incredible. I mean, I live 3 hours from here. I come here all the time, and I swear to you, the other night I said to my wife, you know, because I had spent the day, my job on Bassmaster Live that day was to go tour castles and things like that. And I said to my wife, I said, we need to, when all this changes, all the restrictions, I said, we need to bring the kids here just to cruise around, not even fish, you know, because it's there's times like if you go fish, you know, right down there's places you'll be like, we are in the middle of Lord of the Rings. It really is. There's nowhere else that looks like that, and it's majestic, I guess. I mean, that's the word I would choose to describe this area.
It is, Dave. It's such a fantastic place, and I had the pleasure last night of having dinner with Mayor Zimmer and our old hosts, Alan and Susan Venus at Thousand Islands Inn, which they've sold that property. And they used to bring bass up here starting in the mid-'80s. The Bassmaster Classic, 1980 Classic, was up in Alex Bay. So this place has a special history with bass. And I can tell you, every angler to a person, they love coming up here.
They sure do, and I know we love coming here. And I want to address the crowd thing, because we have a gathering of people outside of our area that have come, and I appreciate you being here. And people have asked me all week long, they said, well, what is it like? It sucks. I miss all of you. You guys are the greatest part of our sport. Without you guys, it's just a bunch of middle-aged dudes in funny shirts with matching shoes. Let's be honest. You guys are what makes our sport. But you guys never let us down, whether it's in person with the few people that are able to be here, or whether it's the millions that watch this week on ESPN2. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our heart. You never, ever let us down. That's right. Let's hear it for Bassmaster fans all around the world. Okay. All right. I think we got some anglers ready to go. Tripp, we ready to get going? We're going to bring our leader up in just a little while. We're getting him sorted. We'll bring him up here and see how things are going. But before we do that, we're going to get our anglers up here. You guys ready to meet some anglers? Okay, you guys, who has been to an event in New York before? Bassmaster event before? You know how big the crowds are. You guys, the dozens, have to be the loudest here today. Can you be loud for me? This is the Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at the St. Lawrence River. Are you ready? Let's get ready to web! Our very first angler won this event the first time we went to Waddington. He's a former Bass Nation national champion from Rathdrum, Idaho, the prodigy, Palaniuk. Started today with 59 pounds and 12 ounces. Needs 17.4 to take the lead. 6 pounds, 5 ounces. And Brandon, we talked this morning on the dock, and right away you said, you built your career on being the guy that takes the big risks. You know, the guy that makes the big run. I asked you, are you going out to the lake? And you look at me and said, nope. You did not even think about it for a second. How come?
I really didn't have anywhere to go. I mean, I found what I thought were some winning fish, looking at them on my graph, and I never could catch them. And it frustrated me out there, and the biggest day I had was actually in the river. I spent 3 days of practice in the lake and like a half a day in the river and caught almost 25 pounds in the river. So I said, I'll mix it up between the river and the lake, and I just stuck it out in the river today. Yesterday, most people don't know this, but I coaled up 5 pounds in the last 15 minutes. I rolled up on this shallow flat, and there were big ones everywhere. I caught 2 almost 5 pounds, and I went there today, and they're still there, swimming around everywhere, but the wind has churned up all the moss that's on the rocks from it being so hot, and every time I'd make a cast, I'd reel about 5 reels turns, and I'd have moss all over it. So they'd swim over, they'd look at it, and they'd just turn away. And it was really frustrating. I had to leave them.
To be in 10th position is a different feeling for you this time around, just because the lead is that big. But talk to me about that. I mean, me and you talked this morning before launch. You were talking about it. The win is one thing, but to be the first angler to get a century belt on smallmouth bass, you told me that's even more valuable than the win.
It is. I knew not winning here would hurt, but somebody breaking the century mark on smallmouth before I did was going to hurt even worse than not winning. And I didn't really know how to take that. So I figured I had to go catch 40 pounds so that I could weigh in first, break the century mark before anyone else, and that just didn't quite happen today.
Well, a great finish no matter what way you look at it. We look forward to seeing it in Champlain. Let's hear it for the one and only, the prodigy, Palaniuk, making his first top 10 of the season from Texas. Get loud for Brad Wutley. The dozens are representing. I appreciate it. Had 60 pounds and 9 ounces as of this morning. 5 fish here today. Looking for 16 pounds, 7 ounces. 14-1 moves into third place. 2 pounds, 6 ounces short of the overall lead. We're going to let him dig in that Abu Garcia weighing bag and hold a few high for you. Get some pictures on Bassmaster.com. A big finish up north for the Texas angler. $74 pounds and 10 ounces. So no matter what way you look at it, a great finish here. And like I kind of joked with you, I mean, how fickle and weird is the world of fishing? I mean, a guy from Texas, it's never the one you circle on the calendar, but I'm sure you're happy to have a great finish.
Yeah, Dave. I mean, coming up here to New York, fishing for smallmouth, I'm starting to fall in love with them. I mean, we don't have them where I live, but dude, y'all have got a phenomenal fishery here. My hands are absolutely raw. I've caught so many fish this week. Please take care of it. It's an awesome place, and I thank y'all for having us, and I pray we get to come back.
How did you do it? You know what I mean? Like, when you look at the amount of people that really took a licking here, and people that, would have been the ones that you would have said, hey, there's a smallmouth dude, and this. How did you do it? How did you set yourself aside from the field?
Really, I love using my Humminbird electronics, and paired with the Lake Master mapping, I went out in the lake, and I spent most of my time in the lake this week. I didn't do that well in the river, and so every day I made a really long run thank God for the Mercury Phoenix. I mean, guys, I was running 145 miles every day this week, and that boat performed flawlessly. Got me there and back every day with no issues whatsoever. But, you know, like I said, I like using my hummingbirds. I love graphing fish, and I just found a mega school out there. And I wasn't on the winning fish. I never was. I wasn't on Mueller fish or Wendlandt fish or anything like that. But I could catch, you know, and I will say this, it was getting better each day. Like, the fish were getting bigger each day. When I first found them, they were like 2 pounders, really, legitimately, every 2.5 pounders. And the first day I went to them later in the day, and they turned into 4 pounders. So, you know, I could catch 20, 24 pounds, which, you know, that's phenomenal anywhere you go in the country, and especially for smallmouth.
It really is incredible and an awesome finish. Keep it rolling through to New York. We look forward to seeing you at Champlain. Before we bring out let's hear it for him. Before we weigh any more fish, I want to traditionally at the beginning of our weigh-in, we bring in our day 3 leader. Now, obviously, it's a little rough out there. If you hadn't noticed, some boats are getting moved around. We had to shift the boats over there, so we didn't have our day 3 leader at the start of our weigh-in, but we do have him now. So give me a little love for him, ladies and gentlemen. Starting off the tournament with the biggest smallmouth bass in Bassmaster history, Paul Mueller. Paul, unbelievable. A little wet?
Completely.
You knew you come to the St. Lawrence River. We'll weigh your fish in a little bit here, see how this all works out. But you come to the St. Lawrence River, you know you're not going to get 4 days just to easily sneak out on that puddle. Today was a challenge, I imagine.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it was rough right from the get-go, and I made a decision to go. You know, I put all my eggs in the Lake Ontario basket, and you know, I just didn't think that I could put together a good bag to contend in the river today, just given the conditions. And I don't have any complaints other than maybe I should have fished there a little bit longer, but you never know, man. The wind's building and the waves they're not getting any smaller. So what an incredible week, you know, to go out there. And I had a decent day given how tough it was. I mean, I was in 6-footers trying to drift a drop shot, and it's challenging. You know, you're just leaning against your seat, just hoping for a bite. And then when you hook them, that's another story. So, you know, it was a great week. You know, I used my Garmin electronics. The live scope was key for me, just finding these fish, staying with them. Some of the fish would move, some would suspend. The key was finding them on the bottom, finding them, you know, eating the gobies. And, you know, I caught all my fish on a drop shot rig with a Berkeley Max Scent worm. Just an awesome, you know, the flatworm. It's an awesome bait for Great Lakes fish. It's not a sponsor of mine, but
talk to me about that. It's weird. I'm going to call you out and give you credit for it, because this is something you don't see a lot in pro fishing. That's not a company you work with. It's a bait that's dominated this, but you openly said that every once in a while in the past you'd see some. I mean, let's be honest. A couple of years ago, we had anglers hiding lures on Bass Live so nobody could see them. For you to openly say this is the bait I caught it on, and not even just hide it, but openly publicize it. That says a lot about your character.
I mean, you know, you just have to be honest. The thing is, I have great companies, great sponsors, and they make great product, and I use them a lot, and they've helped out my career. And you know, the thing is with fishing tackle, sometimes there's things that come around that dominate certain parts of the country, and that Max Scent is a deal where when you get into Great Lakes fish, it dominates. So nothing wrong with being honest. And the thing is with live coverage, you know, you have to be honest nowadays. So, you know, it's a great bait. I caught, you know, all my fish on St. Clair with it last year and finished 5th there. So I have a lot of confidence in it, and it helped me out this week. Caught the biggest smallmouth of my life, 713. And like I said, when I caught that fish, I was like, I don't care whatever happens the rest of the week. I've had a good week. I mean, I would travel far and pay a lot of money to catch a fish like that. So it was a very special week for me.
But before you leave the stage, I want to talk to you about that specific fish. I mean, you already told us what you caught it on, but has it gone through your head? I mean, 50 years. You think of every page you flip through Bassmaster magazine, every picture when you were a little kid looking through that magazine, every single face you've seen, none of them have ever caught a smallmouth bass that big. Like, has that even registered?
No, it actually hasn't. Somebody brought it to my attention, and I mean, I know that was a big fish and all, and you know, the thing is, I think the difference now and then is that all these bigger lakes have gobies in them, and that's the X factor. You have fish like that in other Great Lakes, and you're starting to see some of these fish caught. Plus, the technology is a lot better now. Between my Garmin electronics, the mapping, and the live scope, that's really what helped me pinpoint these fish. Without that, on a big ocean like that, it's really hard to pinpoint them because you couldn't catch them everywhere, you know, and they would move, and it's not like I had a big school. I had little clusters of them. So the mapping and the electronics has helped a bunch. And I mean, I saw that fish on my live scope 50 feet away. I thought it was a drum. I was like, it's too big to be a bass, because I've seen 3 to 5 pound
I thought it was
bass.
a
I
drum
know
when
what
you
they
first
look like.
held it up.
I threw my drop shot, and he nosed down on it, and I said, okay, I guess I'm going to catch a drum. And I set the hook, and I'm like, well, it's not really fighting like a drum. This must be a monster smallmouth, and it was. So it was an awesome fish for sure. I'm going to get a replica mount. I know that fish was, it's out there swimming again. It's going to spawn many more times, and that's what's really special, is that I took good care of it. I know that it got released, and it will spawn and live another day for sure.
Incredible fish, incredible week. Let's hear it for him, your day 3 leader. Gonna send him backstage, and we'll see him with his fish as the last angler across the stage. But anything can happen in an Elite Series event. We learned that last year when this guy kicked from 10th place to the top. He's an Elite Series champion from Georgia, Micah Frazier. Took the title last year in Waddington, New York. Backs it up here in Clayton, New York, with back-to-back 10 cuts at 62.4, looking for 14.12, 18 pounds, 13 ounces. We have a brand new leader with 81 pounds and an ounce. Going to weigh that for Phoenix Boats, a big bass. Not going to take it over for the week because that's obviously that 713 ridiculous beast. That one, 4 pounds, 7 ounces. Biggest one of the day so far, but let's get some pictures of that. And Micah, before you load our hot seat, I mean, you know how hot seats work out. I mean, last time you loaded that in this part of the world, it worked out pretty good. Tell me about your week.
Man, this has become my favorite place to fish. And, you know, 2 years ago, I got dialed into a little bait, just a Ned-style bait. I throw the Young Ned Dinger. And in my opinion, in the river, it's the single best bait you can throw. And, you know, I've gotten really dialed in on how to fish those shoals with it and kind of where those fish position in the current. And, you know, that's all. I love it. It's my favorite way to fish, and I can't wait to come back up here and do it again because it's very effective and it's just a lot of fun.
Well, why that bait in particular, you know, why does that set up so well for this river?
Man, I don't know. The only thing I can think is they sit down there and wait on gobies to swim by, and that thing looks just like one. And, yeah, I just drag it in the current. So, you know, I've learned where those fish set up, and I just drag a little goby through there, and they eat it.
Great finish here last year and another great finish here this year. This tournament a little different this time around, obviously. But you went the different way. I mean, everybody went this direction this morning, and you're the only one that went that direction. The only guy to make the top 10 and literally head basically back to the place where you want it. Waddington, New York. I don't know if you went quite that far, but you were right up there. Why the choice to go that direction?
Man, I just feel like I know the river, and you know, I spent a half a day out on the lake, and I didn't find anything, and so I just chose to roll my dice in the river because that's what I know and that's what I love to do, and it's just comfortable and I'm confident, and so I went that way, and I'm, you know, really happy with my finish, and I don't have any regrets whatsoever, and I'd probably do it again if we were starting this week.
Well, congrats on a great finish. I'm going to ask you to make your way around backstage and around onto the stage again and join us in the hot seat, your tournament leader. Let's hear it for him, defending champion Micah Frazier. Everybody has overcome a lot to be here, and it is we can't thank the local community enough, but this man has come over a lot just to get back here to America to be able to compete. All the way from Japan, making his very first a top 10 on the Bassmaster Elite Series, Takumi Ito! 63 pounds and 8 ounces to start the day. 5 fish to add to that here today, looking for 17.10. Needs 17 pounds, 10 ounces to take the lead. His very first top 10 on the Bassmaster Elite Series. Big bass, big stage, big dreams. And dreams are going to come true. They sure change, and we're learning that this year. But they'd never change here at Bass. You're always able to chase your dreams. 17 pounds, 2 ounces. He moves into second place with 80 pounds, 10 ounces, just 8 ounces short of the overall lead. $60 pounds, 10 ounces, sitting in second place. Going to weigh that for Phoenix Boats Big Bass. To be better than 4 pounds, 7 ounces, 411, a brand new Phoenix Boats Big Bass for the day. But Takumi Ito,
Yes.
tell me about the waves out there. How did you like the waves today?
Yes. So my first time. So very big wave. So I try go to the lake, but so too big wave. I'm scared. I'm go back river. So, but so river is so big wave, but I can fishing. So today maybe I caught 7 fish. So very good day. So and today so ESPN live. So Bassmaster live too. So I had a good experience today. It's very fun.
Do you before this? Did you have much experience fishing in the north, fishing St. Lawrence River?
St. Lawrence River is last month. My first time I tried, but so this side, Creighton side, the no check. So this tournament is so only na official practice. I check na lake and river. So very difficult, but so it's very good place. So because I caught many small mouse, so very fun every day. So maybe my first time. So I have never catch so many fish I caught. So very fun, and so Creighton. So people at Creighton is very nice. So every day fishing and talk many people. So very good. So people. So appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you being here. Let's hear it for him. His first season on the Elite Series, his first top 10, and I'm sure it won't be your last.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Sorry, one more please.
Yes, go.
Okay. So go.
No, go talk.
Talk.
You said
Okay.
one more thing.
Yes. So U.S. smallmouth fishing. So my first time this year. So because in Japan I'm not so smallmouth fishing, only largemouth. So I learn every day. I learn smallmouth, how to smallmouth fishing. So I can fish smallmouth fishing. So very well. So I'm very fun. So maybe Lake Champlain. So maybe good too. I think.
Let's hope so. New York be good to you the whole way home.
Yes, thank you very much.
Congratulations. From one international angler to another. This one didn't travel near as far, but he's very lethal on this body of water. From Cavan, Ontario, Canada, Corey Johnston. Had 64 pounds and 2 ounces to start the day. 5 fish to add to that here today, looking for 17 even, 16 pounds, 7 ounces. With 80 pounds and 9 ounces, he moves into third place. Dig deep in that Berkeley weighing bag and hold up a couple fish for Bassmaster.com. I want to thank all our viewers watching on Bassmaster Live and ESPN2 and be able to follow the action next week in New York. And Corey, I mean, I don't normally think about my first question to anyone, but last night I asked you about the lake and you laughed, who wouldn't go to the lake? I'm not even thinking about not going to the lake, or nobody would not think about going to the lake. And then I watched Bass Live and I saw you get to the lake and go, phew. Talk to me. What was that all about?
I was dead set on going to the lake, and I got thinking about it on the way out there. And if I catch 25 pounds or 26 pounds or 27, I can't win. So we got Champlain coming up here. We're start practice tomorrow, and I thought, it's gonna be a rough one out there. Stuff's gonna probably get broken, and I thought, I'm just gonna go have some fun in the river today, and that's what I did.
What happened to how did you get so responsible in the last 12 hours? Your
entire
entire life has not been like this.
I just, I just went with largemouth fishing, had some fun, picked up a flipping stick, caught a few, and enjoyed the day. So I'm getting that jig sharpened up for next week.
Next week's going to be a fun one, but this week not done. Tell me about your week, how you caught them, and I know for you, a top 10 isn't a victory here, but it should be, because anybody that made it through this gauntlet of pros, it was a tough week. It wasn't a normal St. Lawrence River. Let's just put it that way.
It was definitely a tough week for me. I mixed it up, shallow, deep, but yesterday I scratched my whole game plan and just went idling, fishing new stuff, and some stuff that we checked in practice and had no fish on it. And they're usually there, and I pull up yesterday and there's a whole big wad of them. So, that's just how it goes out here, and I didn't feel like going and doing that today and getting beat up.
Got to talk to you about your brother before you leave the stage. Tournament's not over for you. It might be over right now on stage, but you and your brother, worked together, shared accounts and everything, so you just became the world's biggest Chris Johnston cheerleader, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope he can pull it off, but if he doesn't, there's next year, and we'll be back here to try it again.
Always great to have you here.
Thank you.
So real quick, Dave, before we bring the next angler up, I talked about the process of getting here to Clayton. The anglers needed to hit the road, the majority of them, like Micah, probably on, say, Thursday. He left on Wednesday or Thursday. Literally on that Friday prior, Eric Lopez picked up the phone and called this lady right here, Tricia. And I can't thank you enough, Tricia. She made all of this happen at warp speed time, Dave, warp speed time. So I just wanted to recognize her.
Thank you very much. And I'll be honest, throughout several times today, I've had locals and people in the marina come up and say thanks to Bass for coming here. And several business owners said the economy, the people needed this, and we had nothing to do with it. Local people, look over there. Those are the people that brought us here. You thank them, and because we can't thank them enough. Now, here's a guy who loves the locals. He loves the locals so much, I don't think left here 2 miles from here. Let's bring him out. Ladies and gentlemen, from Mississippi, a two-time Bassmaster Elite Series bridesmaid, Brock Mosley. Weighed a 6'10" largemouth and has put an absolute show on. Got people running down the docks and cheering him on.
I got some sandwiches too.
Sandwiches! Life's always better with sandwiches. Looking for 16-15 to take the lead. He's got 5 fish here today. Needs 16 pounds, 15 ounces. At 64 pounds, 3 ounces, 19.15, and a brand new leader, and does it with mostly largemouth, 84 pounds and 2 ounces. $84 pounds and 2 ounces, and Brock Mosley is your brand new leader. With that, we say goodbye to Micah Frazier, defended his title well. Let's hear it for him, ladies and gentlemen. Won it here last year and top 10s it the year after. Weighing that big bass for Phoenix Boats Big Bass. But Brock, I have perpetually, Greg Hackney made a top 10 here on largemouth back in the past. John Murray did it. Several guys have done it. But I've made fun of every one of them. But I think you're a genius. While they were all running out to the water and we had no coverage on Bassmaster Live, ESPN was all Brock Mosley all the time. And then your signal was perfect. Do you realize this? This might have been the smartest media move ever.
Yeah,
I think my biggest fan this week's my cameraman. He said, man, I'm so glad you're not going to the lake. I said, dude, we ain't even going to burn 5 gallons of gas. So, you know, what started out as being, you know, I'm going to try to do this just to survive this event and get the points I needed to go to the next one, because I had such a terrible practice. You know, my wife.
You need to clarify that. I mean, practice was terrible, but you had some good stuff coming into this event.
Yeah, you know, my wife, she gave birth to our little girl Wednesday afternoon, and you know, I was really hard on myself for not being there, and you know, Wednesday was one of the hardest moments I've had, you know, in my career, because there's a lot of things you don't want to miss, and you know, it's just you know, it is what it is, and but I was hard on myself all week. I wasn't having a good practice. You know, Hank Cherry told me Wednesday night, he said, man, the baby's here, she's healthy, just go out there and relax and fish. And, you know, that's what I did all week. You know, I got more dialed in the further on into the week I went. And, you know, everything just went, you know, about as perfectly as it could go. You know, I lost a few each day that would have helped me, but, you know, I wouldn't be in contention to win with the way them guys were competing with the smallmouth out on the lake. But man, I had a great time. These people in Clayton are awesome. I mean, I don't know how, I've had hundreds of people every day come running down the dock and just talk to me. And hey, I told my cameraman this morning on the way to our first spot, I said, man, you hungry today? I said, when they get us on live, I'm going to ask for some sandwiches. And man, it wasn't 30 minutes later, here come a guy bringing me some sandwiches. So I was just joking, but it actually happened. But man, it's, you know, thank you to Clayton for all the hospitality. It's been a great week, and man, I've had a lot of fun. It's been awesome.
Brock, it's amazing when I look at your resume. The North has been incredibly good to you. There's a lot of people, and I got to point out over and over again, there's a lot of people looking at dude from Mississippi. Well, of course he's largemouth fishing because he knows nothing about smallmouth, right? Yeah. This dude knows about smallmouth. He finished second here just a few years ago, second on the St. Clair just a few years ago, and now a big finish in largemouth. I mean, are you going to move north or what?
I'm thinking about it, man. I love it up here, and it's not too, I mean, Tripp knows back home it's so hot you don't even want to go outside right now. And come up here in the summertime, the weather's usually great. It's a little windy, but that's about it. But it's the fishing is just amazing up here. It never gets old. I mean, it's the river was fishing stingy this week for the smallmouth, and you know, like you said, I feel pretty confident when I'm here when it comes to smallmouth, but it just wasn't happening for me. Even though I caught 2 big smallmouth the first day, but I spent 6 hours of my day fishing for them. So, you know, I just took what I had, you know, and ran with it. You know, I made something out of nothing, and it just worked out, man. I've been really blessed this week.
It was a lot of fun to watch, and when you look at Facebook and the internet tonight, I think you'll realize the impact you had. A lot of people cheering you on all around the world.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. It's been an awesome week. You know, I hope we come back to Clayton. That's all I can say.
He is our brand new leader, so we're going to have him work his way around the stage here, and congratulations, get in the lead here, and we will keep our tournament rolling. Let's bring through our next angler. He's a 3-time FLW Tour Angler of the Year from Texas, Clark Wendlandt. 66 pounds, 10 ounces. When I asked him yesterday if he was going to the lake, he did not even blink. Said there is no way I'm not going there. 66.10 to start the day. 10 pounds and an ounce, going to finish 7 pounds, 8 ounces short of the overall lead. And man, that lake can become the great equalizer when everything seems like it's cruise control. I mean, really, what we're seeing today, that's the reason that this is such a freak farm, because nature protects it all year.
Yeah, well, it does. I mean, that's true. And I just love the lake. I mean, if it was windy every day, I'd go out there every day. I just enjoy fishing out there, and you know, it's so big. I've always really liked big fisheries, and you don't get any bigger than this. And you know, I got out there today. It really wasn't that bad. Yeah, you know, you got to know how to run it. You run the troughs. I mean, the waves are huge. You got to respect them. We've got great equipment now. The equipment did a great job. And you just take your time. And I was told that years ago, back in the 90s, man, just take your time and you can handle that water. And you can, but if you get in a hurry, that's when you get in trouble. I didn't get in a hurry. You know, I probably went about 10 or 15 miles out in the lake, and it took me about an hour to get back. I left an hour and a half, so 30 minutes too long. And but I mean, it was great fishing. I caught 3 today, only 3 fish, but I lost about 5. I could have easily had over 20, but because when you get a bite out there, it's big. I mean, they're not the little ones. There are not all that many little ones out there, but there's a lot of big ones.
Great finish. I know you. Every time you're in contention, you know you're not satisfied with anything but holding the trophy at the end of today. But I mean, you got to be happy, and man, you're having an incredible season. I mean, it's hard to even notice who's having an incredible season, who isn't, because it's so many weeks between events and things like that. With all the craziness going on in the world, I mean, you got to take some solace in the fact that you're dialed in when it comes to angling this year.
Well, I do. I feel good. I feel real comfortable. Bass is, you know, that one of the probably the best decision I ever made in my tournament career was coming to Bass. And, you know, last year was an awesome year, even though I didn't fish all that well. And this year has been, you know, I just feel comfortable. I'm into fishing, which as a professional angler, you would think, well, yeah, they're all into fishing, but there's a level of being into fishing that most people don't really realize. I mean, it's like eating, drinking it 24/7, 365, and that's what we do. And the reason that I love it so much is because those bass just intrigue me. It's places like this. I mean, the thought of going out there and catching 26-3 the first day is, I mean, I can't wait till we come back, because I guarantee you I'll be going out there again.
Awesome to have you here, and I can't wait to see how Champlain works out for you.
Okay.
From Reed Springs, Missouri, a 6-time Classic qualifier, Chad Morgenthaler. 69 pounds and 10 ounces. Coming in today, he's got 5 fish, needs 14-4 to take the lead away from Brock Mosley. 14 pounds and 4 ounces, what he's looking for. 11 pounds, 4 ounces. 3 pounds short of the overall lead. And, you know, I got to feel that, I mean, like a lot of guys, you're not feeling like the fish beach. The weather might have just turned off the tap a little, I guess.
Yeah, it was. You know, I elected not to go today to the lake. And I really struggled with that decision. And I struggled with it all day long, especially whenever things didn't start very well for me this morning. But, you know, I'll live with that. It was a decision I had to make based on a lot of things. So, but I can't say enough about the 4 days that I've got to, actually the 7 days that I've got to experience here with this fishery and everybody here. You guys have welcomed us with open arms, and we greatly appreciate that. You know, we want to provide the entertainment for you guys. We know that a lot of you love to fish, and we love to fish for you, and that's what drives us a lot of times too. Not to mention these giant smallmouth that live in this place. I mean, there's not an angler alive that doesn't want to come here if he's already been here, and if he hasn't been here, he probably wants to come. And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You know, what you want to fish for. Brock showed us, and you know, that there's a great bunch of largemouth population here as well as smallmouth. But boy, I tell you, the decision to not go may haunt me for a while, but I had to weigh some things out. I was 7 pounds behind Chris and Paul, and I hadn't caught a bag over 24 pounds. So I had to make all of that decision today. I thought I could catch them a little bit better, but it just, there were some things that happened that just got the best of me today.
I also just called out, I got to believe too, and I don't know this for a fact, but I got to believe a lot of the guys that decided not to go too are also taking into account the fact that it's a back-to-back event, you know what I mean, on 2 giant oceans. You start pre-fish at what time tomorrow morning?
Yeah, 0 early 30. Yeah, and and we're a ways away, but all things considered, I do it every time because I love being here on Championship Sunday. I mean, that's what it's all about, the crowd, what it's all about. We've had some phenomenal coverage. I've got to do, I caught 2 fish over 5 yesterday with the drone hovering above me 40 miles from here. And that just was so cool, you know, to get to do that. So the coverage with everything, we hope we've done a great job for all of you guys. And, you know, like I said, hats off. It's been a good event. I needed this event. I needed it for more than one reason. I'd been in a little bit of a downturn, let's put it that way, like the economy every once in a while gets. And this gives you an extra pep in your step, you know, it gives you some momentum. So I'm looking forward to that. I love to fish Champlain as well, and I can't wait to get there too. But this place will always be near and dear to my heart, and it's my 3rd time here, my best finish ever. I kept getting better, and now I finally made the top 10. Maybe if we come back again next year, who knows?
Awesome to have you here. Congrats on a great finish, and we look forward to seeing how Champlain works out for you. Brock, there's only 2 anglers left to go, and I mean, how 2020 would it be for a dude to roll into Clayton, New York, the greatest smallmouth bass fishery in the world, and win on largemouth? I mean, if it was ever going to happen, it would happen this year, right? And they brought you sandwiches. Let me bring out one of the most lethal anglers out here. He is the first Canadian to ever win a tour level event. He did that in the FLW Tour, trying to do it at Bass. From Peterborough, Ontario, Canada, Chris Johnston. Had 74 pounds, 12 ounces. Looking for 9 pounds, 7 ounces. 22 pounds, 12 ounces, 22, 12. And with 97 pounds, 8 ounces, Chris Johnston is once again leading on the St. Lawrence River. And with that, unfortunately, we say goodbye to Brock Mosley, but let's hear it for him. An incredible performance. And like I said to Brock, I mean, Chris, how 2020 would it be? How 2020 would it be for you to come here and become the first Canadian to win an Elite Series event on the one time when we can't have a sea of Canadians flood over the border and cheer for you? I mean, last year there was thousands that came over, came so close. But man, you left it all out in the lake, and it was awesome to watch.
I appreciate it, and I really appreciate all the support I've got from back home, from all our fellow Canadians, friends and family, especially the family. I wouldn't be able to do this without their support back home. I just got a young lad. He's about, 2.5 weeks old now, so it'd be really nice to win this for them. And I have to say a thanks to a few more people. Bridgeview Motel, we stayed there all week. They cooked all us anglers dinner every night. It was top notch. If you ever need a place, check them out. Another elite angler, I had some maintenance things I needed to get looked after. He jumped on my boat, took it apart, figured it out. Kobe Krieger, he helped me out in a jam. And all my sponsors, you can't go out in this weather without the right gear. Mercury Ranger boat ran flawlessly out there, and people are going to ask how I was catching the fish. I was catching them all in 20 to 50 feet. Today my 2 biggest ones came out of 50 feet, and the shallower ones especially I'm seeing on my Garmin Live Scope. They're actually boat shy now, so if you drive over them on your boat, you won't mark them. You pull up to a spot and you got to find them on your Live Scope and get your bait to them before your boat gets on them, and that was a big key to my success this week. So and then Seagar line, I always use Tatsu for smallmouth. I think it's the best, and Spro baits, and yeah, I think that's it. And the town of Clayton, I've been here probably 8 or 9 times, fishing some big tournaments here. I've probably finished second 5 or 6 times. I've led multiple times, and I've never been able to seal a deal, so it'd be really special if I could do it here today.
Speaking of special, let me talk to you about your brother. And
he's special.
He
is special.
Today, I mean, last night, you were there when I asked you who's going to the lake out of the people that made it, and he laughed like that nobody would get. And zoning me arguing, I'm like, he's going to the lake. There's no way he's not going to the lake. And I'm watching the footage, and they're just boom, it's like majestic, and it's that moment, the thrill of victory, the agony of angling. He's hitting the waves, and then boom, he turned back. Well, what was that all about? Do you think he did that to help you?
No, he got a little scared, I think. He won't admit it, but he saw the big waves and thought, I'm going to turn around. But I had to put my big boy pants on and go out and try and catch some of these smallmouth. Mueller's been catching them good every day, and I know I didn't have a chance catching them in the rivers. So my hat's off to him. He's crushed it this week, and I was happy to get what I got. I don't know if it's legal or not, but I was using a little bit of chum from my camera guy, Russ. So I think he said 3 of the big fish I caught, he was actually mid doing his thing. He had to pull the camera out and get it on. So I don't know what he gets paid, but it's probably not enough to go out and that stuff. So my hat's off to Russ. He's with me for 4 days, and I appreciate it. He does a great job.
Let's hear it, honestly, all our camera guys. I mean, all the Bassmaster fans, you know what Bass Live has meant to all of us. I mean, it's ruined all of the chores that you're supposed to do. You don't get crap done around the house because it's on, but it's awesome. But it's only awesome because there's a bunch of dudes who hold a rock on their shoulder for 8 to 10 hours a day, and there's nothing tougher in the world than doing it out here and looking through a viewfinder and not chumming. Some of them are around here maybe chumming right now, but I need you to give them the biggest round of applause. Bassmaster Live, videographers, unbelievable. And I hope Russ is feeling better, and maybe he'll take some solace in knowing he wasn't the only camera guy that chummed today.
I think he said once he touches the dock, he wants to lay down on it and hug it. But something really cool happened today. I don't know if you guys caught it on camera, but not only once did I have a bass jump in my boat this week, twice. Today I hooked one, and it did the same thing. It just come up very easy, and they don't do that. They should fight. They just come up lazy, and it's sitting 5 feet below the boat, and I look at it, and all of a sudden it takes off, jumps, clears the gunnel right into my cockpit, and it was one of my biggest fish of the day. So I said, things are going right when that happens, so it's pretty cool.
Unbelievable. And talk to me about day one, because I'm watching live. That fish jumps on the deck of your boat. It's ridiculous. And I'm like, well, like most of the smallmouth world, like, well, Chris Johnston's going to win another tournament. They're literally jumping in his boat. And you probably felt like that until Paul Mueller threw a ridiculous 713 on that scale, and you thought, that did not jump in my boat.
No, and like that 713, I've fished this place my whole life and some of the best smallmouth lakes in the world. I've never caught a 713. That's a fish of a lifetime, and this is one of the best fisheries in the world. And you're going to see a few more of those come out of here, especially if you fish early spring or fall. It's really nice to see. But Mueller, he caught him, and I thought, well, he got a 713. Maybe got a little lucky the first day, but apparently not, because he caught him every day. So it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be very interesting. I asked you to come make your way over here. We're not going to make you load the hot seat because we only have one angler left to go, but in social distancing. But with regards to that, just hang out right there, and we will bring out our tournament leader. You already met him. He weighed in the biggest smallmouth bass in Bassmaster history. He weighed in the 5 biggest bass in Bassmaster Classic history. A former Bass Nation national champion, a 2-time Elite Series champion from Connecticut, Paul Mueller. Had 76 pounds, 15 ounces. He's looking for 20 pounds, 10 ounces to take the lead, and 23-1 to break 100 pounds. 5 fish, all alive. Looking for 20 pounds and 10 ounces. $18 pounds, 15 ounces, 18-15, and for the first time, Canada has a Bassmaster Elite Series champion. Hold it high and get loud. The Johnston Juggernaut officially moves south of the border. For the first time, Canada has a Bassmaster Elite Series champion, and it's Chris Johnston. The Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at the St. Lawrence River belongs to Chris Johnston, and he officially becomes the first ever Elite Series champion north of the border. Already got a title that makes you the first ever tour level champion on the FLW Tour, and now you are the first ever Canadian to win a Bassmaster Elite Series event, and as I said, only fitting that it would happen. Go on over there so you can talk. Yeah, I'm sorry. All right, well, we'll go on over here. How fitting is it that you can, oh, honey dipper trucks here, sorry. How fitting is it that 2020, a weird year, and it's going to be even weirder because last year you had a sea of Canadians just kicking stones down the street. Well, man, you got that title this year. 2 weeks after having your second baby, life is good.
It's great. 2020 has been a crazy year fishing-wise for me, too. I had two of the worst tournaments of probably my career, and to bounce back here in the St. Lawrence of all places, it's just incredible. Kind of at a loss for words, and I've wanted this bad, especially on the St. Lawrence River, a big tournament win, and it finally came together. Normally, when the weather conditions come like this, on the third day I've been burnt. I couldn't go out to the lake, and today it was still open, and luckily I got out there and was able to get it done. And a couple other people I forgot to mention was my main sponsors, Under Armour and Daiwa. Their gear held up flawlessly. Daiwa's spinning reels, they have the best drag system in the world, and you can't fish smallmouth without that kind of gear. So thanks to them and you guys.
Talk to me about the history that's nobody, doesn't matter how many events, your brother wins, Gussie wins, anybody, you're the first Canadian, and that firsts are really, really rare.
It's incredible. I've watched Bassmaster my whole life, and even if you had asked me 3 or 4 years ago, I didn't think I'd be here in this position. And then I luckily got an invite to come fish, and I couldn't have said yes quick enough. And then we're coming to Waddington and then Clayton, and that's my home ground. And it's been surreal, and I can't even describe how I feel, how cool it is. So.
People that follow you and follow you closely know very well, and you have joked about it a lot. I mean, your track record on this body of water, you lead the first 3 days a lot.
Yeah, if it's a 3-day tournament, I lead 2 days. And last year, I did it again 3 days and 4. I can catch them on the Canadian side, but on the U.S. side, it just falls apart. And I tried saving fish all week. I don't know if it helped. I think it did, and I went out there today, and some were right where I left them biting. And I have to say one other thing. I made a bit of a bonehead move today. I'm fighting a 4.5 at least, and I'm fighting it for a minute and a half, going around the boat, and then I hit the line with my trolling motor, wrapped it around the propeller. It was a rookie mistake, and I really thought it might cost me today, so it didn't. So it all worked out, and I'm happy. I got 5 good bites today, and apparently that's all I needed.
Might not hear him in your ears, but I know Candace freaking out right now.
Yeah.
One more time, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it. The first Canadian to ever win a Bassmaster Elite Series event. The Site 1 Bassmaster Elite at the St. Lawrence River belongs to Chris Johnston. Straight, get a picture. With Corey.